friends. I'm Charleene. It's so nice to see you. I see some faces in the chat. Hi, Lori. I see Lori. Hi, everyone. Tell me where you're joining us from today. Tell me your name and just say hello in the chat. This is kind of a psychedelic little way to come into a crystal singing bowl session, isn't it? Yeah, the energy in the sky today is a little unique. It's a little weird. It's a little groovy. It's kind of cool. It's good. It's, for me, I've been finding it very affecting, so I'll be curious to hear some of your comments as we go throughout the day. But tell me where you're coming in from. Hey, Victor, it's nice to see you. I owe you some communique. Victor joins us from Dallas. Hey, Lori. Lori's from Madison, Wisconsin. Hey, Ann, good morning. I love your cheetah icon. Cheetahs are my husband's favorite of the big cats. We're just cat people. Ann joins us from Miami. Hey, Claire, good morning from Colorado. Yeah. Lania, hi, good morning from Massachusetts. Yeah, such a beautiful, beautiful country we are blessed to live in. Ooh, these bowls are already getting a little trippy today. Kind of digging it. Hey, Positive Flow. Positive Flow joins us from California. It's good to see you. Hey, Dorothy. Dorothy, our Scottish baker friend. Well, I don't know if you're actually a baker, but the other day she told us about a beautiful plum cake that she made. And I was this close to getting on a plane. I don't even really like sweets, but a plum cake, are you kidding me? So there. We're still trying to twist her arm to share our recipe. Kathleen, good morning from Portland, Oregon. Ah, the Pacific Northwest. Ah, so beautiful. Hey, Dorothy, the cake was rather good, but you're not a baker. Well, more than I am. That's cool. Hey, Eleonora, good evening. Joining us from down under, some of our Aussie friends. Eleonora's joining us from Sydney. Oh, we love Australia. My husband and I got to spend about 3 months there. Interestingly enough, we were working, so we were only in a handful of places, but got to spend some time in Melbourne and a lot of time up in Noosa, actually, in the Brisbane area. Such a great country you live in. It's nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Hey, Alexandra. Alexandra joins us from London. Oh, beautiful UK folks. We are needing to plan a trip to the UK here sometime soon, so we may have to ask for some, actually to Northern England and then up into Scotland, so I know who to ask for recommendations. Hey, Nathan, good morning. Nathan joins us from Utah. Nathan, are you in or near the mountains, or it's Utah. There's lots of mountains. It's like it's Florida. Are you in or near the water? There's a really good chance. Just depends. Is it salt or fresh? So, hey, Ricky, good morning. Ricky's my mother-in-law. She joins us from Altamont Springs, though she might actually be in Winter Park right now. Hey, City, good morning. Nice to see you. City joins us from Philadelphia. Yes, I remembered correctly. Reporting from sunny Philly. Love it. Oh, Nathan, you live right at the base. Oh my gosh, of several 10,000 peaks. Ooh, incredible, incredible. The mountains have such a powerful energy. I always feel like I'm able to go to new heights when I'm in or around the mountains. Even just internally. Sounds cheeseball. But it's true. Hey, Jane, good morning from Northern California. Jackie from Georgia, nice to see you both. I'm glad you're here. So today, as I'll just let the bowls kind of finish ringing out, today is there's a couple of interesting things happening in the sky around us. And if this is your first time joining us, one of the reasons we talk about the sky is it because these 13 chromatically tuned crystal singing bowls, they're made out of 99.999% quartz. And as we know, quartz is highly conductive of electricity. And electricity comes from you. You're an electrical being. You're giving it off all the time. Your biofields are giving off. But everything has electricity. Think about it. We're all made of what? Particles. Electrons, neutrons, protons. So we always have this flow going on. Everything in the universe has flow, and everything is vibration. So the bowls will pick up on your vibrations, which is what makes these sessions so cool and special and unique, is that every session is based on what's happening with you, and depending on who all shows up at every given time. You know, a group of 150 people one day could be very different than a group of 150 people the next day, even if there's many of the same common beings that are joining us. Your vibe changes daily, right? Sometimes hourly, sometimes by the minute. So the bowls pick up on all of this energy, but they're also picking up on the resonance of the things that are happening in the sky around us. So we're being impacted, usually without our knowledge. But sometimes when we can create conscious awareness of what's happening, we can move through life with a little more gracious, effortless ease, right? Just knowledge is power. So connecting to this deeper knowingness is one of the things that we look to do. So what's happening in the sky right now, first of all, the moon. So the moon is in Sagittarius, and that's where the moon is in her happiest place. So the moon's very happy. The moon relates to who we are on a very, very deep level. So our innermost workings. Our sun is what we show to the world. It's a projection of ourselves into the world. The moon is how we feel and how we actually maybe secretly see ourselves and move in our own world. Sometimes the two can be congruent. Sometimes they can be quite different, right? Sometimes what we feel as though we show or walk through life with, face-wise, maybe one persona or one aspect of our personality, whereas when we're at home and no one's looking, we have different feelings. So that's kind of an explanation between that sun and moon. And so the moon, these inner feelings, she's really, really happy in Sagittarius. Sagittarius has this light, fun, let's not worry about the details, definitely not a Virgo. You know, let's go on an adventure. So there's just this kind of winging it sort of vibe. And that's what the Sagittarian moon, so the moon as she moves through Sagittarius, which just means she's going to spend about 2.5 days moving through this energy before she pops into the next energy beyond Sagittarius. That's really what's happening with her. So our inner workings are like, oh, let's wing it. Oh, this is fun. Let's go on an adventure. We kind of have these sort of urging and desires and pinging towards this very, almost like just a lust for adventure. So that's happening. What's also happening is that Mercury, the planet of communication, is sitting opposite Jupiter, the planet of expansion. We typically see both of these planets, we perceive them from a beneficial perspective. All planets are beneficial. All planets also bring up shadows. That's the name of the game, right, for everything. We live in a dualistic world. There's good and what we would call good and bad. There's light and dark, right? Because we need both. There's always that balance. So these two planets, Mercury, communication, and Jupiter, are sitting opposite. Well, what does that mean? Well, if any of you have looked at an astrology chart, they're in a circle, right? So it's literally like they're sitting on the opposite sides of the spectrum. So think of it this way. Think of it as someone who you perceive to be your polar opposite. OMG, I can't even believe this person is so far away from anything of who I am. Do you have somebody like that? So that opposition can sometimes be very illuminating, because in the opposition, we have an opportunity to see, there's actually some interesting similarities between these two, what we think of as 180. There's also an opportunity to see things from a different perspective, and that causes expansion. And that's the name of the game, right? So when planets are sitting in opposition, they encourage us to look at how to pull the best out of both of their vibrations. So Mercury is all about communication. Let's have ideas. Let's really communicate. Let's focus on business. Let's get things done. Let's literally get down to business. And there's a speed about Mercury. He's tiny. He just wants to go and rapidly move. Jupiter, on the other hand, is the biggest planet of expansion. Lots of good luck. So Jupiter is smiling on this speedy little guy, but he's also reminding him, say, hey, you know what? To get the most out of what it is that you want to accomplish, instead of having 20,000 ideas, let's focus on one. So today we have this energy of this desire to kind of wing it, and yet we need to, what the energy is around us is gently reminding us is that, yeah, it's okay to wing it. Winging it is good because that allows sometimes for the miracles. Yet, if we focus and then allow going on a free fall, that's when the greatest expansion, positivity, good fortune will find us. I just thought it was really cool the way that the sky kind of lined up today. So let's go on a focused free fall. Does anybody else find that that opening slide kind of trippy? I don't know if you got here in time to see it. You'll see it again at the end. Oh, it's pretty psychedelic. Those lines just moving. So that's the name of the game today. Again, if this is your first time or one of your first times joining us, let me remind you kind of how we flow in this space, just so you're prepared for your journey. We like to prepare ourselves, we retune, then we begin to release so that we can receive. It's the easiest way to work energy from many perspectives. The bowls will tell us, will gently guide us to some of the tones of vibrations that we need for the day. It's my job to listen. All you have to do is be present and just be. Many of our friends enjoy listening to the bowls through headphones, through closed headphones or earbuds. The bowls will frequently beat against each other. If you tuned in whenever we first started, the bowls were doing just that. They were beating against the sound waves, which, by the way, they're actually not waves, they're bubbles. That's another conversation. Sometimes they'll beat. Beating is one of the things that help us begin to release. It starts to break up blockages, kind of like when you have to dust mud off of your boots or something. You kind of have to get a little bit of elbow grease into it to help that mud fall off. It's the same thing with stuck energy. Just think of it that way. So listen however feels best to you today. There will be some guidance along the way. It's a journey of sound. So I invite you to find a comfortable position, either seated or laying down. And begin to witness your breath. Is it deep? Is it rapid? Or is it shallow, thin? Just notice. begin to notice in both your physical bodies and or your energy bodies, wherever you're comfortable witnessing right now. Begin to notice if there's any blockages in your space. Your physical body, you may feel that as a pain. You may feel it as heat from inflammation. It may be centered in a joint, muscle, organ area. This is a time to begin to honestly communicate with yourself as to where there's places that you're ready to release. If there's pockets of energy that perhaps no longer serve. Attention begins to direct you, whether it's something that you realize you're doing or not. Just trust in your process. You know on a very deep level what you need in this moment. When you witness these places, gently allow, ask, and direct the energy to leave. Some of you may want to ground it out. If you have a grounding practice, that could work. Some of you just may want to let it go into space. Whatever works for you. If you don't have a grounding practice and would like one, think, imagine, or feel a cord of gold that twists and turns from the base of your spine out through that first chakra, all the way through the center of the floor, down into the core of the earth, wrapping, engaging, and connecting you to Mother Earth. You can allow the energy to dissipate down that cord. However you want to let go, just begin to release. physics we know, nature abhors a vacuum. It will always fill it with something. It's a pure potentiality that we're sitting in. That's the pure potentiality that surrounds you. So what is it you want to fill in these spaces that you've just created for yourself? Let's begin to focus our intention now. Before we were wonderfully floating, moving through space, our space, all of space. Now we have an opportunity that, just like our favorite superhero, in whatever cape you want to wear, or insignia you want to have on your chest, we get to define what our superpower is for today. I invite you just to connect with your creativity for a moment. What is your superpower today? What would you like for it to be? Or for tomorrow? What is it you want to begin to cultivate? If you could do anything. And there's nothing too outlandish. The only rule is to suspend your ego. That little voice that wants to tell you that's not possible. There have been plenty of superhumans that have walked and that do walk on the same soil as you. So whether you perceive your power right now or not, doesn't matter. Let's just feel it. Defining your superpower right now. It may be clarity, an ability to see beyond, X-ray vision of sorts. It could be an ability to soar high, maybe to see all perspective in life. It could be an ability to move through dense matter, to clear the space and make a path for others. It could be a great connection to all that is. Maybe it's love. What is your superpower today? With laser light intention, begin to focus on this superpower. In Sanskrit, we actually have a word for this. It's called the siddhis. S-I-D-D-H-I-S. A siddhi. It's a supernatural power of sort. What is your siddhi today? Maybe you have more than one. Focus on it. And no matter what happens around you, never take your eye off of that power. hold. Let it go. I'd like for you to begin just to come back a little bit more. Bring your awareness back a little bit more into this space. Let's connect with a wonderful breathing exercise of sorts that will help really calm and integrate our central nervous system and also the two sides of our body, our masculine energy and our feminine energies. It's alternate nostril breathing. Some of you may be familiar with it. We're going to do it a little bit. There's several ways to do this, but the way we're going to do this together today is for you to place a thumb on one nostril, and then when we alternate, we'll place our ring finger on your other nostril. And we'll start by covering our right nostril. So we inhale through our left, and then we'll exhale through our left. And then we'll switch and cover our left nostril. Inhale through your right, and then exhale through that right nostril as well. So it'll look a little something like this. Good. Continue for 8 rounds at your own pace. We're going to start inhaling through the left. Exhale. Inhale through the right. And exhale. Do at your own pace. Back into your space. Begin to shift, move, roll as you need to. Finding more freedom within your body. for this superpower. You can't help but smile. The truth is always the most wonderful news. And then sigh it out. Good. So beautiful. So beautiful. How do you feel? Tell me how you're feeling in the chat. I'd love to hear. I feel like I'm sitting in a room with a bunch of superheroes. With some great work you did. Some great allowing. Some great play. But it's the play we have to bring forth into reality. Right? Something's only a miracle until we figure out how to do it consistently. And then it becomes science. So you might have been rewriting science for yourself today. I love that. Good for you. Let me connect back through with some of our friends. Hi Ross, I saw that you joined us. It's good to see you. City, I'm glad you liked that breakdown in the very beginning with the astrology of what's happening around us right now. Yeah, there's a lot of that interesting energy that shows up. So sometimes just wrapping our brain around it, at least when I can wrap my brain around something, it helps me move more meaningfully. So I hope it's helpful for you as well. Hi, Tony. Yeah, it's interesting. I saw your comment come up at the very beginning, and I appreciate you bringing that up. It's Tony had discussed that sometimes tinnitus will kick in. And all throughout my life, too, I've experienced tinnitus in different ways. My father deals with it a lot as well. So I understand and I appreciate that. It's interesting. Sometimes the bowls will very much turn things on in a way in our physical bodies where it's not always comfortable. And never do anything that's not comfortable for you. We always have to move from a place of ease. That's how we allow things into our physical space. I do encourage, if there's ever a time though that you're feeling a little bit of ringing or discontent in any way, sometimes whenever we can actually sit away from the sound and allow the sound to come towards us, so we're moving away from what might be prompting any sort of pain, because we don't want to be there, the sound can actually begin to turn some of those mechanisms off. There's a lot of discussion around as to what tinnitus actually is. There's not really a strongly agreed upon science. There's many theories. So we have to honor where you are and why this is happening for you. It was interesting. I was chatting with my father. So one of the things that we just started doing is a new series on Sundays. It's called the Healing Circle. And we connect with 6 people who have asked for specific healings. And we channel a good intention, a specific set intention that's based on scientific evidence of how to direct our attention and focus to manifest results, combined with affirmations, as well as the power of the bowls. And we focus on each person. And he was one of those people that we worked on this past week. And he said, normally the bowls are a little challenging for me, which I totally understand. And he's my dad. He would do anything for me, right? He said, but when the bowls started going for him specifically, he said it snapped off and he could hear crystal clear. The bowls did not bother his ears at all. He said, I have no idea what you did. I don't know what I did either. I didn't do anything. It's a vibration, right? And the power of our intention to heal. So to heal us wherever we are in whatever moment. And then for him, when we went to the next person and the intention and attention went to another individual, the little bit of discomfort came back. So be gracious with and gentle with yourself. You're doing exactly what you need, and we support and we love you for that, whatever it is. And I share that just because we all have unique journeys, but there's a lot of overlap too. So whether that was for you or for Tony, or if she had to go ahead and step away, or anybody else who's in the group, there you have it. Hi, Lisa. Lisa Nanda. Lisa, which tone is best for the root chakra? Absolutely. So this is a very, very complicated question, which I'll try to break down very simply. All of them. However, if you want just one note, what you're asking specifically is this. You're asking specifically, what tone generally has the most impact on the first chakra, our Muladhara chakra? It's this one. It's a C. That's also a C. But that is a very long and complicated question. And that's just a function of how a note works. Very simply, notes. When I play one note, it's not just a C that you are actually experiencing. You're experiencing what are called overtones. You're experiencing a C, a G, an F, a B, a G, and then finally the upper C. And there's actually a couple of duplicates in there in the order. It's called the overtone series. And I said them out of order. But you're experiencing all these vibrations into one note. So we'll have to do a class just on the overtone series, because that's one of the ways that you actually begin to unlock and move energy. If you've ever noticed, if you just have a single tone, a single vibration, it'll move in a space and in a way that kind of keeps us in one particular location, right? This is F. We really feel this in our heart space. We come here a lot because it's a really safe place to be. And when we open the heart, a lot of the other chakras unlock. A lot of because of the overtones of what I was just talking about. But so there's this unlocking mechanism within our physical bodies because of the heart chakra. So, but if we combine two notes, we begin to feel a little bouncing, right? Another note, we begin to feel a little more expansion. Even more space, right? So it's never just one, right? And it's always just one. Oh, it's the conundrum of the universe. Why? Duality. It just is. So thank you for asking. It's a great question. It's just a very complicated question. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I totally just bumped the microphone there. I apologize if that was loud in your ears. I hope not. And thank you so much for your donation. Julie, thank you for your donation. What a lovely big donation. Thank you so much. It's an honor to hold space with you. And a lot of times the system, the chat doesn't always register whenever a donation comes through. So if that's the case for you, please know. Like I saw yesterday, that happened with Lori, and I didn't see it until after the fact. They always come through, so they're always appreciated. I just might not see it in the chat right now, so please know if I don't acknowledge you verbally right now, I acknowledge you in my heart, and I'll also do it via messaging as well. So thank you so much for that. V, so you feel peace, calm, and centered. Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. It's the very last thing that we really focused in on. We really laid into this E-flat major vibration, which really does bring a nice sense of groundedness and calmness to our physical space. So, City, gratitude. You feel more empowered to be seen. Yes! Girl, wear that cape. I just kind of picture this really cool insignia on the front of your your get up as well. Really cool. I love it. I'm glad you feel that way. Thank you for sharing. Dorothy, you loved floating on an emerald green sea. Oh, beautiful. Look at that imagery. Yeah, feeling grateful. I'm grateful for you as well. So wonderful. I hope that emerald green sea just goes with you throughout the rest of your day and into your evening and tomorrow as well. Jojo, you feel determination and perseverance, and you just saw 1111. Oh, look at that. Look at your cities kicking on. That's awesome. So cool. Jackie, do you usually discuss what's going on astrologically? This is my first time. I do. And why is because whether we believe that the earth is flat or round doesn't matter. It's just how we walk on it, right? The physics, by the way, of us walking on a circular sphere that's spinning and us walking and chewing gum at the same time. No. But us even navigating that biologically is actually quite profound if you break it down. This is random. One of my degrees is actually in exercise science. I know, so random. And so actually just the kinesiology of how we stay upright is impressive. So one of the things I love about astrology is that it begins to help us unlock some of the influences that we're not aware of. I mean, do you look at Venus and you're like, oh, look what's happening with Venus right now in the sky. I'm seeing how she's sitting conjunct with Mercury. No, we probably don't do that. First of all, my eyesight's not that good. And there's too many lights outside. So, we use these astrological resources to help us understand our patterns in life. That's all it is. Everything is patterns, right? These are patterns. Vibration consists of patterns. If you know what a fractal is, you know it's a pattern. If you don't know what a fractal is, look it up. Google it. I love that Googling is a verb. Look it up. It's a very fascinating pattern that's replicated all throughout nature. So, when we connect to these patterns, we're more empowered. We have more knowingness. And we can move forward more completely, I find. For me, side note too, I also found very early on in the sessions that whenever I connected to whatever the energy was happening, it was easier to find release. It was easier to find centeredness. So I really, even when I plan ahead, we look towards what is going on, will be going on in the celestial bodies around us so that we can more efficiently use our time together. So there you have it. Lisa, oh, Deanna, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you, Deanna. Peace. Is there a tone or hertz that is good for focus? I'm struggling with concentration at work. Again, this is not just a single question or answer, but the two tones that keep coming up for me are the G. So this is connecting us to our fifth chakra. So there's an aspect of communication for you. I'm also connecting it to the E flat and the B flat. So going back to this, exactly where we ended at work, because there's this piece that kind of begins to center us into a space. But this B flat then connects to these higher intuitive, so like the back of it kind of connects between the back of our 6th and 7th chakra, the 6th chakra being that intuition, so kind of knowing where we need to focus, and then the 7th chakra really connecting us to all that is. Interestingly enough, we kind of need to have that in order to laser beam focus. But for you, I'm actually not answering your question. That's probably not if I had to say a single tone for focus. And here's why I'm hesitating is that every frequency responds differently to what's happening in your space at any given time. So you may need a tone to focus your power. So this would focus your power. You may need a tone to focus your ability to communicate. See, it's less that it's about focus, because focus is actually a choice. But what I'm getting for you is really connecting towards this throat area because it will help you bring out the harmonics that you need to become more focused, to sit more into your focus. It's interesting, right? See, focus is when there's a lot of cloudiness, there's a lot of stuff going on around us, right? So it's getting through all that junk. Sometimes we need to find a tone that kicks us out of that. Now, all of that said, there are certain frequencies, there are certain tones that do connect with things like focus, with things like retention, but I hear that's actually not the question you're asking. So if you want to talk more about that, just direct message me. We can kind of deep dive on that, because this is not just, oh, here's your pill. It's never just as easy as that, right? Because you are so complex and perfectly unique. So, yeah, I'm happy to chat with you more about that if you would find that helpful. Otherwise, just kind of really focus on that right now, on that throat chakra. You may also find times that of grounding into your space that'll help. So, there you go. Nathan, thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate that. Lisa Nanda, thank you. Or maybe we should just listen to the ones that make us feel best if we want to listen offline to the tracks. Yeah, you love the F. Absolutely. So, again, you are a vibrant, dynamic ball of energy. So how vibration connects with you is different every day, every moment. So you have to trust your own resonance. If I were to say there's a pill to do this, I would be misinforming you, because there is a direction in which we can head for a return to wholeness, whatever it is. But how we get there is unique to each individual. For instance, a person with breast cancer may have a totally different healing trajectory than 100 other people who are experiencing that same physical dis-ease. However, one pill might work for a portion of the population, but we know it doesn't work for everyone, right? So it's finding what it is, the vibrations that we need to reconnect to our wholeness. See, healing is a very active, personally responsible approach to living. Wow, there's a lot in that. Could do a class just on that. Lisa Nanda, yes, so, and you feel grounded. That's great. City, oh, I love your little emojis. So fun. T Lady Nat, you always pay attention to patterns. You're an analyst. Absolutely. And you know that all of life is patterns. And so it's the trick is, even going back to this healing conversation, the trick is finding your pattern. It's like being a detective, a soul detective of sorts, right? You get to break down all of these things to figure out, well, that's actually at the root of this. I would have totally thought it was this, but it's really that. And we get to break down these patterns till we get to this seed. And that's where we work. We work with the seeds. It's a cool thing about sound is that a lot of times it'll push us up against these kind of physical stoppages, things that we know. They've manifested fully and densely in our dense physical matter because they've grown as a seed all the way up to the surface where we feel them. The cool thing about sound is we begin to break down those patterns so we can get to that seed. The interesting thing about sound too is that it actually approaches not only from outside in, but from inside out. So we dissolve those things that are working in our space that provide constrictions or just something doesn't feel right, and a feeling as opposed to a physical sensation. The sound actually begins to dissolve those patterns as well. That's the power of vibration. It works both ways. So, yeah, peace. You like the answer. Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you liked it. It's one of these things that it's such an interesting conversation of sorts, because we're in many ways, we're programmed that we're like, okay, well, what's the answer to this? I mean, we even get that in school. Is it A, B, C, or D? Pick one, go. In many ways, depending on how we look at something, it could be more than one answer, right? So sometimes even just giving ourselves permission to reframe the possibility. It's a pretty intense journey, right? But that's what it is. It's a journey. And we're just here together. We're just walking the path together. So, hey, Michelle, it's nice to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Peace. Yeah, the throat will help me communicate with all those that you have. Yeah. Oh, my pleasure. I'm glad that for whatever reason, it just kind of really much keeps going back to this point. And remember too, communication, it's not only communication with others, it's communication with ourselves. So, Jane, I'm so glad you experienced it. I'm so glad you enjoyed the experience. It's always nice to see you, my friend Jane with a Y. We'll be back this Sunday. I'm so excited for this. It's the second of a brand new series we've just started. It is very different than how we move in this kind of space, but never you fear, the bowls are here. I think we should have a theme song or something for the bowls. And what it is, it's called the Healing Circle. It starts this Sunday at 12:25 p.m. Eastern Time, so 9:25 a.m. Pacific. And what we do is that we have 6 participants who we spend 10 minutes of focused intention. We allow the bowls to sing, and then we close off each of those 10 minutes with affirmations. They're all provided on the screen. You don't have to do anything. You just show up and read and listen and feel and experience. The beauty is that every time you give a healing, you get a healing. This week we actually have a diverse population from all around the world. Our 6 participants, we even have a baby. So if you want to show up, hold space, and heal, help others heal, and receive a healing yourself, I invite you to join us. I'd love to see you there. We close out those sessions too then of bringing in the benefits. You know, we may not have the exact same situation that someone else has going on, but there are frequencies that overlap, that correspond, often without us ever knowing. So it's always beneficial whenever we can support, because we are supported. And then at the very end, we receive these benefits ourselves, and then we magnify them out for the entire globe of anyone else who are in need of these same vibrations that you've just helped cultivate. So it's a really powerful time. I'd love to see you there. 12:25. We start 5 minutes early, because right at 12:30, we start in to each of our 6 people, and then have a few minutes of wrap at the end. That first 5 minutes, just kind of make sure we're all in the same space. We get retuned and aligned, kind of understand what's going to happen, and then we begin. So then we'll also be back on Monday as well. The following Monday, I think it's Labor Day in the United States. Monday the 5th, I believe we're here at 9 a.m. for Visionary Insights. Very mystic. Excited about that. And then Wednesday we're back at noon o'clock, high noon, Eastern Time, for some inner dialogue. Some honest inner dialogue. That'll be good. Thursday, we have a little different time next Thursday. We'll be here at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, so that's noon, high noon, Cali time, West Coast time, and then Saturday at 11 for that full moon. Anybody excited for the upcoming full moon? It's going to be in Pisces. Such a dreamy, dreamy vibe. That next Saturday is at 11 a.m. But first, we'll see you this Sunday at 12:25 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for embracing the fullness of who you are with me today. You are powerful. You are so inspiring. You inspire me, and you inspire others. I love to watch you inspire each other, even within this group. And beyond that, you take that inspiration into the world. It's why you make a difference. It's why you matter. Your voice is unlike anyone else's. Your superpower is yours and yours alone. May you always know the strength that you have May you always feel the love that is yours. Until I see you again, be well, my friends. Sat Nam.